Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Baseline. I'm your host, Matthew Truitt, and I'm here with...
Sachin Vanaraja, and today we've got an interesting episode because we're gonna talking about switching sports at college level.
Yeah, it's something that a lot of athletes think about, but isn't really talked about that often.
Yeah, our guest today started as a soccer player and now is competing in a track and field at the college level. So we're gonna talk to him about the transition, the mental side, and what exactly the change was. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's already had a lot of success at the track, competition. During the 2021-2022 season, scored in 2 events at the River States Conference Outdoor Championship, finishing 6th in both long jump with a 6.28 meter mark and the 100-meter dash with a 11.63 time, and even ran a 11.32 in the prelims.
Yeah, and he also had a strong performance at the Indiana Little State Championship, running 11.27 in the 100 meters and jumping 6.63 meters in the long jump. And indoors, he placed number 3rd in the 60 meters and at the Robert H. Johnson invite with a 7.25 after running a season best 7.23 in the prelims.
Yeah, and his top indoor long jump mark is a 6.34, which came at Indiana's Tech Strive for Greatness meet. So yeah, the transition has been pretty successful so far.
Yeah, and we are really excited to talk to him about all those change that happened and how he got the success.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome Triston Thomas onto our podcast.
So yeah, thanks for coming, Triston.
Of course, thank you for having me, guys.
And did we miss something about you? And could you give us a little more about yourself?
You guys got pretty much a lot of my successes from early on. I guess the only new stuff I could add is last year and then this year. I've had a new mark for my 60-meter dash of 6.96 as last year for the new school record, and then winning the River States Conference championship for the 60-meter, and then this year setting a new school record in, I think, my second meet back of 6.91. So I think that's the new accomplishments I can add to.
That's
amazing. It's really crazy, yeah.
Obviously, those 2 seasons in between were kind of down seasons. I didn't compete my junior year due to injury. And then sophomore year had another injury as well, so I didn't compete for outdoor. But I think those are the new things I could add that you guys may not have had. But you guys did do your research, which
we did.
Reminiscing on my freshman year. So it was a great year for me to start out.
All right.
Well, we have, for our very first question, we like to ask this to all of our guests that come on. It's the most important question that we ask.
This is our deepest question.
Very deep. So
hopefully you're ready for this question.
Yeah. What is your second favorite color?
Second favorite color? It's red.
Red.
And why?
Because my first favorite color is black.
Okay.
I like just wearing black, and just that color is just like a good primary color. And then second favorite is red, and I compare those two together.
It's like
I just like black and red.
Yeah, it's like a strong dominant colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both of them, really.
All right, now we can move on to the easy ones.
Yeah.
That was our deepest question. All right, so when did you start playing soccer? Let's start with soccer here.
I would go all the way back to when I was 4 years old. It's been definitely a long journey of just playing soccer. I grew up here. I was born here in the States, and then we moved over to England when I was a little, maybe 1 year old, and then my brother picked up soccer over there, which was, I guess, football over there. But we picked up soccer over there, and then he started the soccer, in our family first, and then whenever we moved back here, I continued to play as well as he did, and then I think that's kind of where it all started. It was just him picking up the sport first.
Gotcha. And what position were you playing?
I've always played offense. As a kid, you kind of play every single position. You'd go from goalkeeper to defense to striker, forward, everything. And then once I got into actual, I think more club / travel in high school, I played more offensively. I was really just like a striker. I was normally kind of the fastest kid on the team, which is kind of obviously what leads to track. But
yeah, that makes sense.
I always started as the fastest kid on the team, so they put me up top to score as many goals as I can. And then I guess transitioning into college, I also started out as a striker, which is what we needed, and then had a really successful freshman year. And then the next 3 years, transitioned from striker to like wing, and then eventually also played wing back because we kind of needed me on to be able to go all the way up and all the way back. So I kind of played pretty much every position you can, but it's been a ride for sure, and I got to see all sides of the field, which is great.
Gotcha. What you most love about the soccer?
I love just like the thrill of it. I think it's fun having a team. It's like different than track because track is like like all about yourself. It's solo. Right. And then soccer, I get 10 other people to play with. I get a bunch of fans to play in front of, a bunch of my family to play for. I get goals to score. It's a fast-paced game, but also very slow because like games can just end up in a 0-0 tie.
Right.
And everyone's kind of like bored about that. But when I score that one goal, it's amazing. Like just everyone celebrating. You get to celebrate with your team. Everyone's like happy and cheering for you, and it like feels like you're on top of the world. So.
Yeah.
Which position was your favorite to play?
I would say I would probably have to say wing back, even though I hated it because I ran the most on the team. Like I would be all the way up, all the way back, playing defense, playing offense. But I was also like one of the most fit physically on the field, so I was able to do it like at ease pretty much. But I think that was more fun because I got to play both sides of the field, both sides of the ball. I got to defend as well as score, and like in one of the games I got to do that where I pretty much saved a goal. Like I was like the last man behind Peter, and I guess they shot it, and I got to slide tackle and save the ball from going in the goal. And then later in that half, I got to also assist someone to score. So I think that was probably my favorite position, even though I did hate it a lot just because of how much I was running.
Very much a love-hate relationship.
For sure.
For me, I would like the defending position just because if someone's getting the ball towards you, you just got to kick it anywhere.
Yeah, it's definitely really fun. Like, it gives you a chance to actually tackle someone without like getting, in trouble for it, as long as you get the ball.
Yeah.
There was a few times I didn't get the ball. I was yellow carded for it or in trouble. But I think defending was definitely really fun because I didn't always have to focus on, I have to score or dribble the ball up. I get to stop these people from scoring. Yeah. And it kind of teaches me how to do it as well offensively and what they're going to do and what they think like.
Did you ever get a red card?
Never had a direct red card. I have had 2 yellow cards before, which happened in club season, which eventually got called back. It was just a terrible ref. I had my first yellow card was in like the beginning of the half, and then actually no. I have had 2. Okay, I've had one time where I got 2 yellow cards. Other time I got 2 yellow cards again. First time was it got called back, but I got a yellow card for slide tackling kid. And then the second time, me and our shoes got caught together, and the ref gave me a yellow card. So then I got sent off the game. And then we got that appealed because it was a terrible call. And then the second time was, I think, my senior season of club. I got a yellow card for another terrible call. Like some kid jumped on my back, and I just kind of backed up, and he fell, and then they gave me the card for it. So after that, I was kind of talking and, just chanting a little bit to the ref and saying some stuff I probably shouldn't say. And that's when I ended up getting my second yellow card to then get sent off. And then my coach also said stuff after that. He got a red card, got sent off. And then another kid on my team got a red card because he also said something. Wow. And then we ended up just forfeiting the game because it was just a terrible atmosphere and not a great ref.
Sounds like
it's always the ref's fault.
Yeah,
it's always the ref's fault.
It was definitely the ref's fault.
Sounds like the ref was just playing with the cards. Like, I have a card. Let me just use it.
Just everyone just get a card at this time. So, yeah. We've never got a direct red card, which is, I guess, a good thing.
Yeah. So what kind of led to the decision to move from soccer into track?
I would say it was my so in middle school I obviously played soccer, and then I think my brother he ran track when he was a lot younger, and they kind of talked me into like just trying out track in middle school, and so I did it I think for 1 year, and it was really fun. I didn't really do much. Like, it wasn't, like, the greatest at it, but I kind of just did it for fun because my friends also did it, and I was able to do it during soccer season, or, like, we had different seasons for it, and then I kind of just did that as a little hobby. And then going to high school, I decided not to do it my freshman year because I didn't think I was going to really enjoy track anymore or really wanted to do it. So I didn't do track. And then sophomore year, I was convinced by all my friends, like, oh, you should just do track. Let's try it. It's really fun. And so I was like, okay, I'll give it a chance. And I tried it and was like decent, but not like anything crazy. And kind of use it more as just fitness to get more in shape for soccer. It was always kind of like a second sport to me. And then I really enjoyed it. So then going into junior year of high school, I was going to do track as well, like again. And we had all the practices, had everything. And then like the day before our very first indoor meet that I was like going to go to is when COVID hit. So then the season got fully wiped, fully canceled. And so I was like, oh, okay. So I 1 year of track probably in high school, and that's all I'm going to do. And then all of COVID happened, obviously. And then going into senior year for soccer, I was like, I obviously know I was going to do soccer. And then I was kind of on the fence if I'm going to do track or not because it's my last year. I was like, I'm not really be crazy at it, or it's not going to be worth it. But then eventually I kind of like the coach talked to me and we ended up doing it. And that's kind of where I excelled and did a lot better than I ever expected I would. And I was our fastest kid on our team, our best long jumper, and like just didn't expect anything like that to happen. And so I was like, I really enjoyed this. And then that's when obviously I was getting also recruited for soccer here at IU East. And I also saw we had a decent track team at the time. And I was like, okay, I can probably do 2 sports at the same time. Like, let me try this because I want to always be busy and not just, stuck to one sport. And then that's when I had a chat with the soccer coach, and he kind of basically told me, don't do it. Like, it's not going to be worth it. You're not going to – it's just not – he wants me to just focus on soccer. And I told him, I was like, if I come here, I'm going to do both sports. Like, I want to do both sports. Like, I can handle it. And ended up talking to the track coach, who then quit or resigned right before I got here. So then I had to talk to the new coach. And then so I walked on for that. And then I guess that's kind of how it started, was just – just talking to the coaches and then figuring out that I really enjoyed it and wanted to just try it at the college level, and I was able to do it.
Awesome. You said you're the fastest. Who's your favorite speedster?
See, I don't really like watch track that much or like know a lot of people, but I guess the only person I could say would just be like probably Noah Lyles.
Yeah.
Like just watching him, that's like the main guy of our generation. I mean, I could say Usain Bolt is like another person, but I'd say those people, and I get compared a lot for like Christian Coleman and like how I think his size is similar to mine, and like how like he lifts as well as similar to like my style. So I think that's another guy I could say is a fast person that I really enjoy watching or like learning about. So I'd say those 3 people.
How about a fictional character?
Fictional character. Honestly, I don't know any.
Do you know the Flash?
Yeah, the Flash.
I mean, I guess the Flash, or I could say.
Dash from The Incredibles.
Yeah, and there's
there's
Quicksilver from Marvel.
I'd say Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Actually, his music is awesome watching that scene. So I think Quicksilver would be pretty cool. Yeah, that would be probably my fictional character.
Awesome. What was your biggest adjustment going from a team sport to a more like a track? Would you say track is like an individual sport?
Yeah.
I say like it's pretty much all on you. Like. However much you put in at practice is also how much you're going to get at the meet. Like for soccer, I could always usually rely on other people. Like if I'm not having the best game or not having like the best like mentality, it's like a continuous game. It's 90 minutes long. So like if I'm, not doing as well in the first half, I can do really well in the second half. Like I can make up for it, figure out what I'm doing wrong. But for track, it's like I have for the 60-meter dash, I have anywhere from 6.8 seconds to 7 seconds of running. Like it depends on how good I do. And that's all I have. I can run that one race. If I do terrible, I do terrible. I can't just go back and change it. I don't have like all the time in the world to fix it. It's kind of all on me as well to understand what I need to do. Like I can be told all this stuff of like what you need to fix, what you need to change, but it's really how I execute it. It's definitely really challenging because I just had this weekend we had our big meetup in Grand Valley, and it's a 2-day meet. So the first day I ran the 60, and the second day I was running the 60 as well. And the first day I did okay. It wasn't my best run, but I didn't make finals, which was fine. Like it was a really competitive meet, and I kind of knew what I needed to fix and what I was going to do for the next day. And then the next day was Valentine's Day when we had that meet. I lined up for the 60. I was in the second heat, and it goes based off like fast time. So like the first heat's the fastest, second's second fastest, so
Right.
on. And I was in the second heat of like there was 100 people in the meet, so I was in a pretty fast heat out of that whole like group of people. And I lined up in the blocks. I knew exactly what I needed to fix, what I was gonna do, and then the gun goes off, but then it goes off again because someone else on the other side, like in lane 3, I'm in lane 7. Someone in lane 3 kind of like fell, so they had to redo it and restart it, and didn't really throw me off or anything. But I was like, okay, like it's just a bad time, so I'm gonna do it again, redo it, and then we get back in our blocks. They say set, and then I false start, like fully false start. Like I don't know. I've never false started in my life.
So were you nervous?
I don't know. Like I didn't feel nervous. Like I felt fine. I thought like the other people were gonna be more nervous than I was.
Yeah.
But I think like maybe deep down I felt like a little bit of nerve or something, and like it just threw me off a little bit. And I false started, and then I guess that's technically my first red card in track. Is they give you a red card, which means you can't run that race now because you false started, and that's like you're off. You can't run. And so like that was something that was like definitely different for me, and something that I can't like change like opposed to like a team sport. Like I get a yellow card normally and stuff, and I can just I gotta just be better, not be as much fouling people or as a physical. But that was something that was definitely more challenging, and like you have to get used to, because that was my first time, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I just prepared for this whole meet and everything just to not run at all.
So how much of a how much does it mentally affect you in getting a red card in track versus getting a red card in like soccer?
I think it's definitely more challenging in this one just right now, because like you prepare all week for this really big meet, and you get one time to run, and then if I mess up, I just like lose it. I can't run again. Like I have to wait until then the next meet, and it's more challenging right now because this week is conference. So my last race was me false starting, so then I had to think about that going into the conference week. So I have to just make sure that I get that out of my head, and like I don't let it go into this next meet or next race, and just forget about it pretty much, because it's definitely like something I keep thinking about. It's like, why did I false start? Why did I jump the gun? But it's something I can't really fix or change. Like I can't go back and just not do it. So I just have to look at it as it's something that happened, and at least I did it now instead of when it really matters, which is conference.
So going back to the soccer field right now, if something wrong happens, do you guys like blame the goalkeeper or the goalkeeper?
It depends. Like I think like the first thing to do is like if the goalkeeper gets scored on, usually like they're like, oh my gosh, why didn't you save that? But then,
So
like,
do you miss blaming the goalie?
I mean, I definitely you can always blame someone. That's one thing, is you always blame someone else for what happens. But like I always knew like Peter is our goalkeeper. He's my best friend. Like I always kind of knew that like I couldn't just blame him, because he's probably the best keeper they've ever had, and like the best keeper I've ever played with. So like if he gets scored on, I always know it started somewhere else. Like there was one time where I know Peter was the one that made a mistake, where I think it was Shawnee State, maybe our junior year. I think someone shot the ball on him and it was wet, and like he just dropped it and it went right through his hand. That's the only time where I can give him that it was his fault, and he understands that too and knows that. If he ever listens to this, he'll know it. But then every other time is really like it always starts from like either with me up top or with someone else in the middle. Like you lose the ball up here, and then it just all goes downhill. And like it's usually a collective team fault of why we get scored on. There's always like one person you can blame for like the main part of it, but I think most of the people that are understanding of soccer and understanding of like the sport, they know it doesn't really always start with the keeper.
Yeah, with all respect.
But it's usually
at the end of the day, we know it's like just for fun.
Yeah. And usually though, like the first thing is like, oh, it's your fault. But I had to look back like, wow, that was my fault on film.
Yeah.
So like I know this is one thing I'm curious about. I know like I played basketball in high school and stuff. Now I play tennis, and being able to like trash talk and stuff like that is very different. Is it different like from soccer and track?
Yeah. So like in track, I don't think I've ever trash talked.
Yeah.
Just because like it'd be more awkward. Like
it's harder
I'd
to,
be in the
you know,
line, look at the person and be like, you're terrible, you're slow. But like I think it's more like, I think track is a lot different, where it's like you're more uplifting to the people, and like there are people in our conference. There's one team that everyone usually dislikes, and that's Rio. Like they're just really good, so like you kind of like it's a love hate. Like, oh, you guys are really good, but we don't like it because you guys are super good. But like there's other teams like IU Kokomo I'm really good friends with and like talk to all of them, and that's more like everyone's just cheering on everyone pretty much. Like if
There's
someone in
more
our
like
conference does
respect,
well, more
kinda,
respect. Like if you run fast, you run fast. There's nothing to really say about it. And if you run slow, it's like I've been there. Like I was slow before too, so you can't really, I guess, trash talk them. If someone's really cocky or like has a big ego, that's a little bit different where you can maybe say, okay, I don't like how that guy speaks. You kind of just let it go through, let him just say all the words, let him get it out, and just don't really say anything back. But soccer is definitely a lot different because I know I definitely trash talked a lot. And a lot of my teammates were really bad at trash talking, and that's kind of how a lot of us did get yellow cards. But yeah, in track, it's just you're like always. Most people are just locked in and focused on their own race.
Yeah.
In the end, you're just racing yourself. So it doesn't really matter what anyone else says or does.
So how's like your practice routine
For track?
So this is just like a don't get it serious. This is like a fun question.
Yeah.
So do you guys like run a 3 mile just for warm up?
No, so for that would be more like the long distance people. They do like 5 miles, I think, or something even. It's crazy.
That's insane.
We do like a 2-lap warm up, which is like half a mile. And then that would be like our warm up before we start warming up. So like our warm up is definitely the longest part of track. Like
yeah, I've heard about it.
Like our whole total warm up time would probably be like 45 minutes.
That's insane.
That's insane.
It's there, and it gets longer each time. And like some people need more time, some people use less time. Like some of our teammates like to rush through it because they don't need it or they just don't think they do. And then others like me, I usually take as long as I can because I know the longer I warm up, the more warm I'll be, the more like prepared I'll be. I don't need to rush through it or be like nervous or anything. It kind of helps me relax. But yeah, we'll normally start with like a 2-lap warm up and then go into like stride outs or a little stretching, like rolling out, and then our actual like sprint drills. And that's when we throw in our spikes and do more like sprint drills or sprinting, and then really extra like you can do extra stuff on your own. But the warm up is definitely the longest part. Like you warm up for 45 minutes just to run for 6 seconds, or like
that's crazy.
Maybe like some people 8 seconds, but like I'm the shorter distance person, so I'm always running. At the highest I usually run is a 200 meter, so like that's maybe 23, 22 seconds long. But then other people are more like the 400 meter dash, like they're running for like anywhere from 50 seconds to a minute, depending on like the gender. And then the highest I think for our side, for like the sprint side, is we have a kid that runs a 600, and so that's like he ran that in a minute 20. So like still nothing correlates to how like for soccer you can warm up for 45 minutes, but you're playing 90.
Yeah,
depending on like the person at least. So it's definitely a lot different. Like most of the sport is just warming up, and like not actually racing or competing.
I mean, yeah, even for tennis, if you get like really warmed up with just with your body, you could unleash like full potential on the court. Yeah. But I don't think we are doing much.
Yeah, we don't warm up for 45 minutes. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. We just do like 15 minutes tops.
Tops, yeah.
15 minutes.
Yeah, our coach is very into like we need to have a good warm up, and like I agree with it too because it like you're putting your body at like maximum like effort. Like sprinting is like the most you can do with your body, and like with spikes and with like muscle wise and everything, because like if one little step could pull a hamstring, pull a calf, or strain something. And like soccer was a little bit different where we definitely didn't warm up near as much. Like we would be maybe 30 minutes if anything as like a warm up, but like it's not even like we're just like passing the ball and like doing our little stretches or high knees, so it's not really a warm up. Like soccer was a lot different, but like you're using your body, exerting full effort, but not compared to track. Like track is something that completely changed the way my body feels after playing soccer. Like it's a lot more demanding physically on my body than soccer is.
So how does your practice actually work? Like you said, you warm up 45 minutes. And then what do you guys do after warm-up?
It depends on, so like for a normal week would be, like today I know we have recovery since we just had to meet. So today we'll just do a recovery warm-up for about, again, like 45 minutes. And then that's pretty much, and that's pretty much it.
45 minutes.
That's pretty much what our practice is going to be today. And then tomorrow, since we have only 3 days this week to practice, since we leave Thursday, we'll do like technical and speed work. So we'll do our warm up again, and then we do like accelerations and overspeed, and then block work as well, where we get actual block starts in. So like a lot of just technical work. And then normally on Wednesdays is whenever we do our tempo. So that we do more of like our 200-meter repeats or 150 repeats or like broken 150s, or maybe we'll do like, if it's more speed based for like me, we'll do like 3 50-meter sprints, just to get our body like more inclined for our race. Going into like outdoor, we'll do a lot more of like actual workouts where we're out on the track, because right now we're kind of indoors a lot, but this week at least we can be outdoors because it is warm.
Yeah. Speaking of outdoors, I've seen these guys like practicing in, I know the degree in Celsius, like minus 10 degrees in Celsius.
Literally like running around campus and stuff in like 10-degree weather.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 10 degree in Fahrenheit.
Yeah, that's.
How do you guys feel about it?
It's
like
terrible.
How does it like work? Why are you guys doing it?
I don't. It's terrible. That's kind of why we moved indoors eventually. Like once it got to like where we basically can't be outside and enjoy it, we pretty much like moved indoors. I know the distance team, it's normally outdoors regardless, just because they always just run and they're always warm. I think that's also why we do have a longer warm up, is because it's freezing outside. So like we have to let our bodies
now that
warm up.
Makes sense.
Now that does make sense.
But like we'll be this week, since it's like 40 degrees plus, we'll be outside for sure. I think the lowest we've ever trained in for track at least was like 20 something degrees, and it was that's still hard. 3 layers, wear like double gloves, double socks, and like you still don't feel warm enough. So it definitely sucks, but you eventually get used to it. Like for soccer, we would be training, I guess, through the fall and like maybe more 30-degree weather. Sometimes it would get really low, like especially there was one game it was a Shawnee State game. It was raining and it was like freezing rain, and it was also like 25 degrees, and it was nighttime, so like it was the worst I've ever experienced because of how cold it was. It was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, if it's like less than 40, I don't think we would play.
Really?
Like tennis.
Oh, I don't know if that's true, but I hope so.
I think there is something like a degree if it's
there
lower
probably
than
is.
something we're not playing.
There probably has to be.
Yeah, I know soccer is like really doesn't matter. Like I mean, unless it gets to like 0 degrees, I think we would call it. But I think it, like for travel and stuff, it normally depended on the teams and coaches. Like if the coaches agreed to call the game, they'll call it, or if the refs agreed to. But I know in travel, at least I would play in like it was snowing, and it was like there was just a big snowstorm, and then we play up at Grand Park, and then there's snowbanks all around our turf field, and then there's sometimes snow on the field, and like it really depends. Once it becomes like, you know, like a danger to us playing, that's when they call it. But if it's not really a danger and you just have to just play, like I know like in professional league, I've seen some teams where they are playing fully in snow. Like you can't even see the field and they're playing. So like I think for soccer, at least, it doesn't matter what the weather is. You're just going to play.
That's insane.
It's terrible. And track is, I know track's been called, I think maybe one time, and then it's more so of like storming. Like if it's freezing, they normally usually run the track meet. It just depends on if the teams want to themselves pull out of the meet instead of, you know, going there, because you won't really do your greatest in 20-degree weather. But it's terrible.
Yeah.
Sure.
Imagine the mental side of these guys.
That's what I'm saying. Like how does that like affect you mentally? Because like deep down you don't want to be there. You know what I'm saying? So like how do you get over that basically?
I mean, honestly, I think you just have to just do it. Like you don't really get over it. It's terrible. Like I remember our worst meet was we went down to Miami in the spring break for our time, but it wasn't really spring break. It felt like winter break. Like it was, I think 30 degrees, windy, sprinkling, and like it was terrible. Like it was the worst meet we've ever ran in. And like for us, obviously you see like the outfits that we wear for our meets, like we're in like literally just basically tank tops and spandex. And you have to kind of like be used to that. And I know there's also like for that meet we have a tent, but the tent doesn't have any wind like hiding the wind or anything, like barriers. So like we have to go find the nearest like bathroom to go sit in to like be warm, and like it's definitely terrible like for the cold meets, because if there's no indoor facility there, that's where if it's freezing, they normally open up the indoor facility for you to go put your team camp in. But if there's no facility, you kind of just have to bring all of this stuff to stay warm and just sit outside and watch. It's terrible, but like
Matthew, like I'm not saying that tennis is not like the strongest mental sport, but like after hearing this, it's crazy. Like,
are you guys even allowed to like wear like anything?
So like we are allowed to wear like tights more. Like I've wore tights before
Uh-huh.
for an outdoor race, or like I have wore like a long sleeve like under my jersey. Like you can wear stuff under your jersey, I think, as long as it's like a solid, just like a black color. So like I've seen people definitely wear that. I have seen people wear like sweatshirts under theirs, but like you also want to wear the least amount of stuff so you don't like weigh yourself down. But
Yeah.
you just have to make sure you are really warmed up. Like again, the 45-minute warm. Like make sure you are warm, like warm.
Right.
And then right before you run, you take off all your stuff. You sit there for like maybe 5 minutes, freezing, and then you just go, and then instantly go back, get your stuff, or have someone bring your stuff to the finish line. It's terrible. Like I feel terrible for my parents too when they sit there and watch, because they're not warming up; they're just watching. So like I feel terrible for the spectators and everyone that has to watch that, and our coaches. It's tough.
Yeah, like if we ever playing a rally and someone's coughing, we call that hindrance. That's affect our mental side.
We hear a baby crying and we're like, no.
That's hindrance.
Replay.
Yeah, that's a replay.
Yeah, it's terrible. Luckily, this our first outdoor meet is in Myrtle Beach.
Oh, that's nice.
We get to go to South Carolina for that, which would be really nice. And it's normally warm, like 60 degrees. I think it's been up to like 75. Like
it's gonna feel like 100 though.
So like
the weather we've been having.
We are happy for that.
Yeah.
Even if it's 50 degrees, we're like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But that's definitely our first meet we open up with, and then of course our second meet we come back and it's normally cold. But it really depends. Like Indiana's so like bipolar, and the Midwest is so bipolar. So like one weekend it could be freezing, and the next weekend it could be 55 degrees and sunny. We're fine.
One of our teammates the other day, he was telling me that we are experiencing 5 different seasons in 1 week. What is happening here?
That's that's just
exactly.
Indiana weather.
Yeah.
Like,
We've definitely had that before. We're like, well, the thing that sucks for us is like we'll always have where it's sunny all week, and then the day of the meet raining, freezing, and like of course the one day out, and then the next day sunny again. So like it's like it just knows like, oh, you're gonna run today, so we're gonna make this the worst day of the week, and it's terrible.
That's funny. Going back to the skills. So what kind of skills from soccer helped you most on the track?
I would say like my agility on soccer. Like I was able to, like on soccer, I'm really quick off my like first step, and then I'm also able to cut really quick. So like for track, it's kind of like my like explosiveness is where I'd bring that to, like for coming out of the blocks, and then just being more, I guess, like agile for practice as well, and like also being more athletic for it. And then I would say like my endurance is a little bit better because of soccer, but also like my soccer endurance is so much different than track endurance. Like I could probably go run on a soccer field, like I'm running miles and I don't get tired.
Right.
And like I feel like I'm running like a 50 flat 400 meter dash on the soccer field. Like I don't think about it when I'm playing soccer. You don't think about your endurance, but on the track, like all you think about is your endurance and running. So like when I go run a 400 meter dash, I'm running like a 55 second to like 56 second 400, opposed to if I was in the soccer mentality, I think I'd run a 50 second, because I'm not worried at all about how tired I am. Because like for track, we'll do a lot less for like our practices. Like we'll do like a repeat of maybe 150s or 200s or broken 200s, and like that's maybe a mile of like running. But then on soccer, like a full 90-minute game, I'm probably running like 6 miles, and then at the end, normally not tired at all. So it's definitely a lot different on that. Like I wish I had the soccer mental bring over to track, because then I wouldn't think about running.
Right.
All you think about when you're running is running there, except for having a ball like at your feet.
So would you say you had somewhat of a struggle with athlete identity after switching a sport, after switching from soccer to track?
I mean, I would say like not as much, because like a lot of the stuff is still similar, I guess, like behind the scenes, because I lifting for both, like I got to do both of those things. Like I didn't really have to worry about a big transition or like a big difference. I think the biggest difference for it was like just the team aspect of the sport. Is like from soccer, it's like you're with, I think for our team at least, we had 28 people, and it's all guys, obviously. Like it's just 28 people, and like the way it worked was it was really strict. Like showing up to, you have to be 15 minutes. If you're 15 minutes early, like that's on time, or like if you're on time, you're late. Pretty much for soccer. For track, it's a little bit different, more lenient, because there's a lot more people, so they can't be as strict, obviously. And like I think for soccer, I was more like scared for like if we were late, we have to do punishment and everything.
Yeah.
And
Right.
we'd still have similar stuff for track, but it's a lot different because for soccer, for our team, it's all guys. Like you're able to, be really hard on them and make us do a lot more than we had to. Like if we were late to practice, I know we had to have community service and like do all that stuff. So it was definitely that's like the biggest change, I think. And then for track, it was a lot less lenient, but still, yeah, if I'm late, my coach is gonna be really upset, and like that's mentally challenging. But
Yeah.
we'll do maybe some extra stuff, or like maybe kick us out of practice or stuff like that. But it's a lot different, I guess, for the coaching style that I had to change. It wasn't really more of like my style that was changing or anything like that. So yeah.
What advice would you give to other athletes thinking about switching sports?
I mean, I think that if they want to do it, like if they maybe aren't enjoying their sport and they want to go try it, like track is usually the main sport that people do switch to because there's a lot of different things you can be good at. Like if you're a basketball player, you pretty much can jump really good. So like you can go jump at track. Or if you're really fast on your team and maybe you're not the best like at your sport and stuff and you want to just switch, okay, I'm really fast, so I'm just going to go run. It's really fun. I'd say they definitely should do it. I think if they want to do like both sports like I did at first, it's definitely the way to go because for at least if you have a fall sport, then track is winter and spring. So then you have time to go switch. I know there's people that are like, I think like women's volleyball, I think they're in the fall. So like they could go do track if they wanted to get fitness or do different stuff. And like we had a basketball player, I think my sophomore year or my junior year, he came and did it for a season. He ended up leaving anyway for both sports in the school, but like he, I think, enjoyed it and like he was good at it. So I think you definitely should do it. Like, I mean, esports is another sport you can do, I guess. Like I do that as well. And that's fun. So like you can do that if you really want to. And that's obviously nothing really on your body compared to like doing two physical sports. Like that one's more of like a online sport. So
Yeah.
I think it's definitely fun. It's definitely challenging because you have to also do school as well. Like school is still also in a part of all of this and not just here for sports. So if you think like you can, balance all that stuff and you want to be busy, the busiest you'll ever be is doing multiple sports.
Yeah.
Right. But would you say if you go back to soccer, do you still have your soccer skills?
Yeah, I would say like just have all of the same skills I still had. Yeah, I would say I do. I would say I'm a little bit rusty, obviously, going back to it, but like it would take me maybe a week or two to like be back into it. Because I know freshman year for soccer, I had played the all fall and then I switched to track for the second semester. And during track, like I didn't ever go train with soccer. Like they have winter or fall or spring trainings, what they had. I didn't go do any training at all until like the very last week, I think, because I was like not during a meet week or anything like that. And I remember like the first like 10 minutes, I was like, okay, I feel a little rusty. But then the rest of the practice, the only thing I felt different was just like my soccer endurance was a little bit off compared to my track endurance, obviously. But like I felt just as good as I was and like doing better than some people already, like with my one day of practice compared to their whole winter thing of practice. But like if you're doing both sports, I like always saw it as okay, like I'm doing soccer in the fall, I'm doing track in the winter and spring, and then all those people, they're doing spring soccer, and then if they just take off all of summer, and then I do play soccer all summer, then I'm gonna come back with more skills, more like technical work. So like I usually would use summer as my like okay, like that's my springtime. Like I'm gonna do soccer, go play like pick up or go do a lot of training all summer, and then I would come back for fall and be ready. Like more than other people that are like, oh, I did stuff in the spring, so I don't really need to do much in the fall or in the summer, which obviously showed that they didn't do much in the summer at all. And then I came back pretty much ahead of most of the people that didn't do that.
When you were doing both sports, how was it trying to balance school with it as well?
It was definitely challenging because I would have like a track practice and then we'd have like a soccer meeting and then I'd also have like schoolwork due that day, or then I would have like schoolwork due that night, and I also have class like freshman year I had most of my classes on campus, so I'd be at class or at practice and then at class and then at a meeting and then just trying to balance everything. I'd be getting messages from our head coach from both sides like, oh, we have this thing coming up, like volunteer, and then I have like, okay, I have a track meet that day and I have to like balance everything at the same time. And like I think I'd normally pick out like, okay, I'm just gonna do certain days where I'm gonna do most of my homework and get it done earlier, so that I don't have to worry about it then. And like it was definitely a lot more challenging. this year is definitely my easiest because all I am in is track, and then I am online for all my classes as well. So like I can do stuff wherever I want. I think starting like after freshman year, I started to pick up more online classes just because I could balance it a lot easier that way.
Yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you, Triston, for coming on the podcast. It was really fun to hear about the process of switching and, you know, what you're up to now. But yeah, I want to say thank you to everyone for listening, and we will talk to you guys in the next one. Game, set, match.